Cycle Frontier focus tester Last Saiyan Prince was given permission from Jaeger to discuss some of the changes and additions that you can expect on launch day and throughout Season 1. Also, I do care about my viewers, so this entire video has been timestamped into important sections for your convenience. And I don't want to lie to you, if you're expecting some big reveal in this interview, I'm not going to disappoint you. You're not going to find it. But there are some great nuggets of information that Saiyan gave to us, and he does so quite often in his own content. His links will be in the description below if you want to learn even more about the cycle. Enjoy. Are you able to tell us, so how much have you got to play since Beta 2?
I played for about 25 hours over this last weekend. It was a 3-day test, Friday through Monday.
Okay.
I pretty much played it the entire time that I wasn't sleeping, so I have quite a bit, pretty much I think the most out of anyone, in fact. So I have about 1,500 hours total in the cycle since the beginning. I've been a focus tester since the first group of focus testers way back in like September of last year. I don't know exactly when we first started, but I am one of the original focus testers and likely have the most hours in this game out of anyone. So probably a good candidate for this interview today, and I appreciate you bringing me along.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. And so I want to, before we get right into the content, I do want to mention that Last Saiyan Prince, also known as Midlife Crisis on YouTube, does stream and create content for this game and will be doing so, I would 100% believe, starting June 8th, along with everybody else.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I've got some stuff loaded up.
So hell yeah. So make sure you guys go check out his channel. Now, what I wanted to, I guess, start with is we do want to get into discussing a lot of the changes that we read about in the previous dev blog prior to the announcement one. Maybe some interesting stuff about dungeons if we can, because I know that's a hot topic for a lot of you guys in here, considering we have in-game activities like the laser drill, like the oil drill already put into the game. We played them in beta 2, but we have not played around with dungeons. So that's something I definitely wanted to learn more about. And I think chat would agree with me. But we have and by the way, chat, so this is an open-ended thing. This isn't like a formal interview process. All my channel points are actually active right now, which I usually see. Exactly, Nugget. So all that stuff's active. This is just a normal stream. We're just chilling and hanging out. If you guys have questions, that's awesome. Yeah, just having fun hanging out, watching some of our old gameplay and discussing the new content that he discovered during this focus test recently. So I guess we'll go ahead and start here, because I can go down the list, but I'd rather just say, like, what is it that you think you would like to share with us most? What's been on your mind since the focus test that you're able to talk about, that you were just like, I just need to talk about this with somebody?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a overreaching thing that let's go back one stage to the end of CB2, where there's quite a lot of negative feedback loop coming out of CB2 based around the combat and the PvP. For me personally, one of the greatest changes we had here in this focus test is a pretty large rebalance in the entire PvP system. A big part of that, the devs kind of let everybody know that they were going to be adding fall off damage to the weapons to get weapons inside of their use range. So like the Brute is no longer a sniper rifle that shoots fast. And, so each gun has a fall off range that, at least for now, makes pretty good sense for the weapon. And what this allows is for a lot more dynamic choices in the PvP system. It's not just everyone get a Brute and use a Brute. In fact, using a Brute may not be the best option, despite how powerful the gun remains. At certain ranges, you may be better off with, an AR or a handgun or something that just makes sense for, not a handgun, I'm sorry, but a DMR or something that makes sense for range. That's a huge one. I think that change alone, and I'm sure we will get into a little bit. Basically, I'm allowed to share opinions, more or less. I can't give people, like, let's say a specific gun stat change, but we can definitely talk about how a lot of the guns feel different. On top of just the overall balance changes that feel really good, a couple of things that I would consider broken are fixed inside of the gun balance. Like the Gorgon was just clearly, it got nerfed too many times. So
yeah,
I think
Every time they did something like that, they nerf a gun. As soon as I got to Gorgon is when the nerf came, and I was like, fuck. So yeah, they definitely nerfed it, and it wasn't as much fun to use towards the end. When you're talking about fall off damage, like you said, that's going to be a huge change alone, and it is something that's extremely important because it kind of made ARs unnecessary, because there's no point in having a medium range gun if your SMG is going to fire just as far and do the same amount of damage output. So
and more bullets.
And more bullets, faster rate of fire. Absolutely. So, I mean, with the fall off rate, a big thing that happened with Beta 2, and this mainly for me happened with the armor system and the way penetration works, we didn't really have the information I feel like we needed to understand it properly. And I'm wondering if it's going to be the same thing with the fall off damage, or are we going to be able to tell what the fall off range, what the distances are going to be? Like, am I going to be able to tell my lethal, my lethality proximity? Like how far can I shoot that's going to be, better, the best range possible for an SMG?
Yeah, I understand your question. So basically, in some of the previous, in CB1 and in some of the FTGs, we had an advanced stat bar at the bottom of the guns. I don't know if maybe some people remember seeing it or not. They were broken and they didn't work in CB1 or in the focus test. However, the devs are working on getting that system working, where you should be able to see a bar. It's basically a progress bar of your stats. And I do believe that even adding attachments should change that bar. So say you put a recoil attachment on it, you should have a higher accuracy stat. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was like range, accuracy. There was 4 of them. I'd have to go back and look. They removed those in CB2 and this last focus test just because it's still a work in progress. I don't know for sure if we're going to have that system on release. I think we're going to go into release with everyone kind of having a question mark on a lot of those things, which I think is fine. It'll make for good entertainment until it's all figured out.
Those things usually do.
I don't think it's gonna tell you to your face to start out with. Maybe season 2, we'll see.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes. A lot of the things I feel like upon full release, I hope that you guys feel the same way in chat too, because if you're here watching this, you're not just some rando that might be checking out the game. Maybe you are, but more than likely, I would bet almost every single one of you in here are dedicated fans of the game, because the game isn't out yet and you're here watching us just talk about what's coming up, just like we are. Obviously, Last Saiyan Prince probably has the most hours in the game out of any player, period. So I'm clear that he's definitely a fan of the game, So we all should expect that day 1, June 8th, preseason, everything that they've implemented and everything that they've added may not be in the best shape that it can be. Like after, a week or 2 of patches and fixing whatever these things are going to be. Because while they can make all these changes... Oh my God, what's up, Space Case? Coming in with that sub, baby. Thank you for the tier 1 sub, subscribing to 2 months. Much appreciated, boy. Love ya. I'm over here licking child's head. You can't even see me. I'm behind the screen. Thanks, buddy. Love ya. Be good. So... We can't expect that day 1 all these things are going to work perfectly, and we have to go into it, kind of just to test it around, because during the focus test, there's not enough players, I don't think, to get all of the data that they could use to really iron these things out. You know what I mean? I feel like they're going to need a lot more player base to kind of mess around with these gun changes and all that to really know how everything's going to play out.
For sure. With the new focus testers this time, I saw some of them in chat, by the way, Sladley and a couple of them. Welcome, guys. We had a lot of pretty active and helpful new focus test members. We actually were able to run forced PvP events for about 12 hours over 3 days. We got all the way up to 3 versus 3 versus 3 versus 2. So we got all the way up to 11 people at once. Forcefully meeting for PvP, and we basically we do like a loadout game where whoever wins the last round gets to choose the loadout for the next round, and So we were able to get a lot of situations PvP wise, but there's still so many changes from CB2 that it's going to be new for all of us. There's a lot of things that even for us focus testers that we're going to go in on day one and we're not going to know. We're going to be excited to figure out and find out. So you're very much right with it. It's just the focus test group is pretty small and there's so many changes this time that I mean, I think even with 10 times the people, we probably would have still not got everything tested. And I think that lends a lot to why we're going into preseason. Because
before they go into the big, huge full release thing. Yeah.
yeah. There's just so many things that need way more.
Hold on 1 sec. You're getting overblown by the kazoo kid right now. Hold on. Thanks, Bloodbath. 5 months already. Much appreciated. But yeah, what were you saying?
Just that there's so much to test. I mean, they would have to employ several hundred focus testers and run several weeks at a time to really get to the end of progression in every part of it. So preseason makes a lot of sense. I was personally not quite sure how I felt about it at first. After some consideration, I think it's a smart move for them. I foresee some issues come day one, which I think, with every release of every game, I think that's reasonable to expect. For me, it's a good sign that they plan on not just running the whole season with issues, that they plan on looking at issues from day one and spending a few weeks trying to figure out and fix as much as they can before we get into release.
Which gives me a great question for you too. Let me respond to chat real quick because I did see what you said, Ricky. I didn't miss you, Ricky. I subbed at the start, but we skipped past it. I will make sure that you get your lovin's. Let me see if I can even play. I don't even know if I can play another kazoo. It won't let me do it unless it goes off. But I love you. And you're a sweet prince. And I don't know. Let's make a baby. Any roadmap for a new bolt action sniper? No, I don't believe that they have anything going on with a new bolt action at this time. Another question that I saw was, let me see if I can go back far enough. Oh, yeah, Ricky, anyone know what late game Osiris will be like? Yeah, that's something that we're going to discuss during this stream as well.
For sure. We will get there.
For sure. We will get there. Stick around. We got that coming up. And then how big is Leaf Man's poo? That's a great question, Slady. Do you have an answer for us?
Nope. I'm not sure on that one myself.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. So what are we doing? Kato says, yeah. So if you guys are coming in right now in the chat, we're really just hanging out. This is a very chill stream. This is not formal interview, but I am technically interviewing focus tester Last Saiyan Prince, who is on comms with me right now. He got to play during the focus test that they recently did for the game, showing off some of the new content and getting to test it out. So he does have permission to give us a little bit of info on how some of that stuff works and kind of what we may be able to expect, how the game may feel come June 8th. Now, obviously, there are things that we can't say, but there's a lot that we can. So that I figured, why go stream some random game when we can can go live and talk about the cycle? This may, this makes so much sense.
In terms of that, I wanted to take a quick second, as I'm sure for Allison Scraticus likely will see this at some point in time. I want to thank them for giving me the go-ahead to talk to you here, and they have a lot of faith in me to tell me yes to this, because the answer should be no, because I could very easily say something I shouldn't. I've tried to been very active in the community for a really long time, so I appreciate that they have faith in me to let you guys in on a little bit of these secrets without breaking NDA. That's the goal. So big thanks to them.
Yeah, and I'll say thank you too. Thank you guys for allowing us to do this, for allowing him to do this on my channel, because I know that most of the people who follow my channel and are really interested in the content that I make are really just waiting for more Cycle content. So, and I feel like that's for a lot of us Cycle creators. I know, Space Case, I know you feel the same way, bro. Anybody that was creating content for the Cycle just had a fantastic time during the betas. We had such a good time making the videos, making the streams about this game. And when it ended, and even the players, you don't even have to be making content. Some of you players out there are just like, what now? What do I do now, Dad? What do I do? Like so I get it. You're like wondering what are we doing? So getting that release date, June 8th, was just a huge relief. Just a mega weight lifted off the shoulders of, yes, now I can go back to the content that I actually want to make. You know what I mean? Like,
It seems so soon now, doesn't it?
It does now. Yeah, it would have seemed so far.
Just around the corner.
Just right around the corner, man. Now, Robot said, he said, any plans for mobility adjustments, grappling hooks, jetpacks, jump boots? Personally, I hope not. But you heard anything like that?
I don't think I've spent a lot of time over the last year talking to Rick Deckard and Daze, the executive producers for the game, and these guys really got their head wrapped around what they want to do with this game. I don't think we would have got here where we are without their extreme thick-headedness in terms of what they want and where they're going. Do I think that we will get like hypermobility? I don't think we will ever have something that's going to give you an escape. Like you're never going to have, I'll use some examples from the old game. You're never going to have a directional warp where you can just teleport to a random location. You're never going to have like a recall battery. However, I think we can look at the night vision goggles as kind of like, what separates an exotic from a legendary. They have the same stats, right? You don't really get any higher armor for wearing one over the other. However, you get the night vision ability. I strongly believe in the future when we get to like season 2, this is definitely not season 1 stuff. When we get to season 2, I imagine legendary armors will likely remain the same stat wise, but give us little abilities, maybe let you run longer. We've seen, tactical armor and regeneration armor. I think that's day 1 stuff. But I mean, I'm sure we could get into fall armor where you take less fall damage, all those type of things. It's all super hypothetical, but my guess is that's where legendary armor would be direction. Less better with stats and more better with perhaps skills or abilities.
Great. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because I mean that's we talked about that during the podcast I did with Dilbo and Rufio and Pac. We kind of would like to see some type of armor mods, not that's going to be too insane, but like something that's going to give you a decent little bit of edge. But this game, you could lose it at any time. So yeah, because the night vision, oh my gosh, I got to use it for just a little bit during beta 2. It is so OP. It is so OP compared to anything else. Like,
and
you can be anywhere.
Other things like that in previous. They don't give us a beta as, and I have said this many times, the betas aren't like a showcase of the game's full potential. Literally, we've been testing specific things even in the betas every time. Early on, we tested a lot of things that are no longer in the game. But it's not that they're no longer in the game. They're just not in the game for now. If you test something and it's extremely overpowered or extremely broken, you don't really need to test it again until you're ready to put it in. So while things have felt kind of limited in scope, I have strong faith that come season 2, season 3, we're going to really start going into a customization. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but options.
Yeah, I sure hope so. That all sounds really good to me. What I would also want to mention, this is a great segue, honestly, into the next one. So E-skill, great question. Any big changes to item drops or spawn chances, or can I expect meta runs from CB2?
This is going to be one of the things that I'm going to have a hard time really answering any questions on. This is among the strictest part of the NDA from the FTG. What I feel comfortable saying is that everybody's going to go in feeling like it's a new game everywhere. PvP, progression, missions. Like, I wouldn't take anything you thought was going to work in CB2 and expect to be good with it. I think one of the large problems with CB2, and this is personal, may not be factual, is that with the progression in CB2, pretty much anybody could pick up the game and immediately become wealthy and immediately get into this feeling that they're beating the game almost immediately. And what this causes, I'll use random grouping in the Discord. So in previous tests, it's every time I'd get in a random group from someone, I always felt like it was pretty tactical, like we'd work together, we'd talk together. Here in this last beta, I really started to notice that people are just kind of running around willy-nilly. Like, they just want to drop and go straight to jungle and get 120k, bro. And I feel like while that is fun and I do enjoy that part of the game loop, The issue that comes with is the false sense that you're playing the game how it was meant to be played. It's not a get rich quick game. It's a difficult game. That's the intention. So
Yeah, it's a grinder for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the sound of that because I mean, well, what happens is, and I was hoping that the devs would take it seriously because we talked about it a lot. You get some of us content creators over on YouTube saying, or just showing people in a stream, this is the best jungle run where you can come out with 100K every time.
Exactly.
And for the most part, you could replicate it. Some things may change here and there, but for the most part, you could replicate it almost every time. I would like that not to be the case.
Exactly.
Make it tough.
The issue is you have 80% of the community, and I'm just going to be generalized here. I don't mean to sound offensive to anyone who may fall in any category, but 80% of the community feels like they're a Chad, that they're out here top tier player, and honestly, a lot of them are likely not top tiered. The equipment was insanely a huge crutch in CB2. The jungle was a huge crutch in CB2. Like y'all, you got a new game coming, and that's really, you know, I can't get into too specific details, but the map design guys have done amazing. The mission guys have been working hard. Like y'all got a big change coming.
Exactly, Space Case. Content creators ruining the game. Shame. Yeah. Economy has been a big concern for me, hoping there's a lot of work done here. Yeah, Squirrel, I think that that's something that they've taken seriously as well. You know, just how the economy is going to play out. I mean, is there anything that you're able to say about that?
We didn't get to test it. That's what I can say. We had 3 days. It's not long enough for us to test. All I can say is it's a massive change. We would need weeks and hundreds of people to test it privately. That's why I'm really a fan of this preseason. I'm hoping that we can get some metrics, and hopefully come release day one, hopefully they're able to move the goalposts around, you know, and get something that, like, either it's too slow or it's too fast, whatever it is, you know. I like the preseason because there are so many changes involved. There's a lot of question marks. So a lot of excitement, a lot of question marks from us FTG guys for how it's gonna play out on day one.
Hell yeah. No, yo, Mr. Wood, what's up, baby? Thank you so much for continuing the sub you got over from Nara Demons. That was a good gifted sub. Dude, he gave like 90 gifted subs that day. That guy's awesome. I specifically remember the name exactly. But yeah, that dude, thank you so much for continuing that sub, man. The sub thing doesn't go off whenever it's a continuation, but I love you nonetheless. I had read something a second ago that I really liked. Let's see.
Okay.
It said, where did I see this at? Because there's been a few things in here. I lost it. Dude, thank you. Yeah, thanks again, Mr. Wood. But we are going to be talking, if you're just now hopping in, we are going to be talking about dungeons later on in the stream. We're going to be talking about in-game Osiris, as well as, you know, we've already talked a little bit about some of the gun changes that they are working with, fall off damage and stuff like that. When it comes to the campaign, so the big things for me, and they mentioned it, they knew that this was an issue, but we had talked about it a lot during beta 2. When you were progressing through the missions, through the different contracts, it didn't feel like the items that you were receiving for it. I mean, the XP was cool, or not XP, but the money was cool, the K marks, that's great, but there wasn't really any significant item drops that you got for completing missions. You know what I mean? And so I'm hoping that has been able to, you know, kind of get worked out a little bit. But besides that, I mean, with campaigns, I mean, have you noticed any difference?
I didn't do any campaign work myself this weekend.
Okay.
I led the PvP. I was the captain of the PvP testing. So that's mostly what I focused on when I played, was setting up groups and times and teams and events and stuff like that. I will, however, say that one of my greatest concerns was the lack of gear saturation for new players in CB1. Like I didn't think CB2. I'm sorry. I didn't think that new players, and we're not talking about Chads or gamers. I'm talking about new players. I think the game was kind of limiting on, you'll finish a mission and it gives you an audio grenade. I was very heavily suggesting that when you complete one mission, you should get geared up for the next mission. Like, you should be getting an entire set of green armor when you finish a mission, so that when you go to do the next mission, you actually have something useful for the mission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Why not? You're going to lose it anyway.
I'm pretty sure that we're going to have lots of gear saturation in the early game. I'm from missions, from daily crates, from all the good stuff. So I don't know for sure that that's going to be changed, and likely why I'm even answering this here for you. But I believe it's going to be massively improve the board across the board in terms of rewards. We know for sure they took a lot of the stuff out, like turning a flechette for 1,500 K marks, or I don't know the exact numbers, but they've definitely been working on all that stuff with reward as their heavy focus. So.
That's great, because I mean they're going to need it more than anybody. If anything, they could have a plateau, because we're going to talk about the armor plateau here in a minute. But they could have a plateau on the campaigns. Like maybe you get different types of rewards, smaller or less rewards, but more impactful and more important to end-game stuff for the end-game missions. But in the beginning, getting saturation of extra green gear, a little bit of blue gear here and there, maybe a few guns here and there, because you're exactly right. When I was in the early game, I was noticing and watching other new players do the same thing.
Surprise, motherfucker!
What's up, Kaiser? Surprise to you too. We're doing cycle stuff, isn't this wild? How you doing? So one of the things I noticed is that the new players, especially if you weren't that good and you were just mostly focusing on PvE because you were too scared to even get into PvP content. I definitely watched some people do that, and they were just trying to get the missions done so that they could get the better guns so that they could compete. And so they're just walking around with standard weaponry because that's all they can afford and that's all they have unlocked. And so they're not getting as much opportunity. We had those little day 1, day 2, day 3 unlocks, those things. But we didn't have, I feel like if you're completing all these contracts, yeah, gear up the players. Give them some new, a little bit higher level guns here and there. Sprinkle them in so that they can be using them more. Make them feel confident. Let them go into it, because I feel like that happened a lot too. Like I didn't have a green I had a bunch of green backpacks, but at one point I couldn't. I didn't have good enough weaponry unlocked, so I didn't want to wear it. Because I was like, if I go and take my green backpack with this, little AR, like the whatever the first AR is, I can't even think of it anymore. You probably know it. I feel like if I take that in, I'm just gonna lose it, and then there goes my green backpack. So I'm just never gonna use this thing, and that's not fun. Yeah. You don't ever want to do that.
No one should have gear fear with green. Like you should just be like we should be to the point where maybe you get a mission reward and you might have to delete a green. Like I feel like that would be much better for the game loop versus I don't think anybody enjoys having gear fear in the first week using shit gear. It's not fun. It doesn't mold skill. It doesn't encourage exploration, or doesn't encourage bold moves. Like you're just you're in green, you should be bold. You should be channeling your skill and your movement and stuff. And right now you just don't. You just want to bring an AR-55 and a white gear and get your mission and get out. And I don't feel like that's what this game loop is looking to be. This game loop
exactly.
Yeah. They want to get you on the planet, and when you land on the planet, sure, I might want to go get some Titan ore. But like if something happens, I don't want to run around the something to get to Titan ore. I want to go see the something and then get my Titan ore.
Yeah, that happened all the time, and I watched a lot of people do the same thing. And yeah, if they can find a way out of that, yeah, I think that saturating the newer players with better gear will definitely help out with that, because, you just want people to go in and experience all the things. Yeah, if you hear some shots, you should automatically want to kind of go check it out and see if you can handle it. Yeah, check it out.
Exactly. Or if you see a laser drill. And if you have one set of green gear and you've been grinding and someone drops a laser drill, your mindset is going to be, I don't want to lose my green gear against these chads, so I'm going to avoid it. Where if you had 10 sets of green gear, you're going to be like, fuck it, bro, let's push this laser drill, let's see what happens.
Exactly. Dude, exactly. Yeah. Bloodbath said saw it happen a lot, and then people walked away. Yeah. That's what'll happen. This game is a free-to-play game. There's going to be a lot of people coming in that aren't willing to put up with it because they didn't spend any money on it. You know what I mean? And Escape from Tarkov, yeah, the game's frustrating, but it's like $40-50. So you spent the money. You're going to be like, yeah, I just spent $50. I'm going to at least keep trying to give this game a shot. A free-to-play game, you'll come in, try it, be like, I don't like it, next game. It's free. You didn't spend any money on it. So 100%. They got to keep that from happening.
For sure. I saw we missed one. I wanted to go back and touch on real quick. Let me scroll up.
All right, hold on 1 second. Thanks for the prime, Biddy. Woo! Oh, nope, we already did Dance Dance Revolution. We don't need that anymore. Dude, thank you so much for the sub, Biddy. You're sexy, you're beautiful, and you probably have a massive danger, dude. I don't know. Thank you so much.
So I see Eskel TV asked, so if you were in charge of doing loadouts and the testing, you don't have much experience in cross armor fights. Not at all, man. About half the testing we did was purposely cross armor. In fact, I'll give an example here. And again, if the focus testers are listening in and hear this, I don't mean anything in an offensive way, just kind of how I see things. So we did some purple versus whites, and who I would consider the more skilled team, the higher FPS skilled team, actually lost in purple because the less skilled white team made really smart choices. They split us up. We were doing 3 versus 3. We were in purple and flechettes. They were in white and AR-55s. I don't remember exactly, but something like that. But they were really smart about it, and we fought in East Collection Point, and they basically tricked us with where we thought they were. We came in the front door and lost guy number 1 because they had a wonderful ambush set up for him. We didn't walk in, get shot, and laugh and walk out. He walked in and died. And then from there, it just turned into even 2 purple versus 3 white. I no longer felt like, okay, this is easy. And me and Archio had to like hold hands and like start making considerate plans, because we can't take these guys lightly. We can't just run in the door and start blasting, because it's not going to work like we're used to. So yeah, we definitely did a lot of cross armor.
Yeah, you can't be a Danny DeVito meme. So I just started blasting.
Yeah, it's not, even if a lot of times in team battles, if your friend dies, we're 3 versus 3 and our mate dies, we know which room he's in. We're gonna rush in there and finish the guy up. You know, he died here. We know what to do now. Now you really gotta think and make dynamic decisions. Literally, you could be one moment away from ruining it from your squad this time, instead of just crutching on the equipment, which is, for me personally, I loved it. Like, just the PvP experience in the focus group was amazing. And I don't mean I won all the time. I meant like everything felt like it was supposed to feel. I never went into a situation with my freaking pants down and just laughing. Like, you know, I had a little bit of humility the whole way. So good question, Aska.
Absolutely. And hey, Alabama, yeah, maybe we should look into getting that done, man. I'd be down to change the name to that. How you doing? Casa, how you doing, baby boy? Welcome to the stream. So I also wanted to talk a bit about, I just read it too. Every single time I read it and then it goes away, it pops me back down. Oh, solo testing. Yeah. So Squid Nuggets, good question, said, I would like to also know if you got in any like solo versus squad fights, and how did they feel?
We did some 3 versus 2s, 2 versus 1s. I wouldn't say that we did a ton of them to like, I'm super confident on gun versus armor. I'm not super confident on 3 versus 1, just because I didn't do it enough, but it's for sure going to be in a better spot. I'll put my left nut and my firstborn on it. It's going to be in a better spot than it was in CB2. Might still need a little bit, might not quite be there, but I think it's going to be pretty goddamn close.
Well, I mean, I remember, and it just got brought up, what about player pings and silhouettes? So right off the bat, I immediately noticed a little bit of a difference when they removed the seeing the silhouettes from across the map. Like when you could only 100%. See them when they were in front of you, which is all you need. That's the only point of having that, is so that you don't shoot your guy. So it's not a super mega hardcore game where you're like, hey, dude, is that you? Bro, I see a foot. Is that you? Like, you don't have to do that the whole time, which I think I've never liked anyway in any game that I play. But seeing your guy while you were in the jungle and he's over at fucking base camp, like, that was too much. That was silly.
That leads into what I was referencing earlier about random groups sucking ass. Is that you group up with some guy, and instead of following you around and making sure he's close and communicating with you, he just runs off to fucking dig site. And you're like, bro, you're 400 meters away from me, and then you're both dead. You have no chance. Like, that's just the type of gameplay that doesn't belong in this loop, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it doesn't fit. Absolutely. Yeah, so, and the pings, I don't know, and I'm sure he's not going to be able to give us a yes or a no on if they're staying out. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't bring that back.
I would imagine.
Surprise me.
I would imagine we might see some different versions of that in preseason, like some things that have been talked about is bringing pings back, but adding an audio bark, so it'd be like over here.
Okay.
That everyone would hear. Me personally, I prefer that system over the no system. I don't give a shit about pinging some guy in a bush. I want to be able to ping heals to my buddy. I want to be able to check how tall something is without bringing in a scope. You know, for me, it's the non-combat uses that I think need in this game. I think it should be in this game. However, instant callouts is an issue, and I really think the audio bark. Like, I don't need. If you three see me, it doesn't matter if you call me out or ping me. You know, we're gonna be in a fight. You've already seen me. However, what it changes is, let's say I'm running past base camp, and you're in base camp with your buddy, and you're dropping some heals for him, and you haven't seen me yet. You're not fighting me yet. You're just giving your buddy some equipment. And when you ping it for him, while I'm running past base camp from outside, I hear a, "Hey, over here." Now I know, hey, something's going on in there. You know, I don't think that taking pings away from groups really does much in terms of, I saw this guy, he's gonna die. I don't think pings do much in that particular area. And I think the pings got a little bit of hate unnecessarily because of that assumption. Oh, I was hiding in a bush and they pinged me, so they all. I mean, likely you were dead anyways, but it wasn't the ping that killed you. If all three of them saw you, it doesn't matter if they ping you or not. They're coming for you.
Yeah, to an extent, that's true. When it comes to long-range battles, I feel like it was a little bit OP because there was several times where we're getting sniped at, and I'm like, dude, I can't. Behind the big rock, bro. And I'm like, I don't know where that is. Ping, and then he would ping right where the rock was. I'm like, oh, okay, I see the guy. Sniped him. He's dead. You know what I mean? So stuff like that does happen. There definitely would have to be balance with it. I like the bark. I think the bark's kind of cool. I don't know. I mean, I feel like honestly, it couldn't hurt to if we lived in a world where they could implement that for like a couple days and see what we think. And if it sucks, just take it right back out. But it just usually things don't work like that.
With pings and like you said, you know, I'm sure you got pinged in long distance and stuff. And we'll use that exact example. That's an advantage that only a team has. What does a solo player do with a ping? Nothing at all.
Nothing.
So that's why I'm fine with giving the quality of life to teams, but make it useful for the solo. Make it so I can hear you every once in a while. Or maybe I hear you guys ping me and I'm able to get away, you know? Like, it's kind of an odd thing because it's not something that a solo can use when it's active, and it's something that only a team can use. So I would like something that considers that in the balance above all of the things. Kazoo.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, try to pay attention to the stream just because I don't want sometimes you don't like. Yeah. I was like, I don't want like you just to be sitting there saying something super dope and then Kazoo. You're just like just talk. Like I just don't want you to have to get cut off like that. All right, cool, dude. Ricky, thank you so much for the prime. And by the way, any of you guys that do the primes, I always love when you do because you could have given that to anybody. You could have given that to your mom if she streams. You know, your grandpa, whoever you care about. Maybe a friend, but you chose to give it to me, and that makes you beautiful and a sexy, fine piece of ass. So I'd be down for a ping with a bark. Yeah, Woodstock. Yeah, I think that it's interesting as a concept, but I personally do see issue with it. I think that it does give a little bit of advantage, but I also, because I do also play in groups a lot, noticed the decrease in quality of life in game as playing with friends. 100%. Like, dude, pick that up. It's right there. And he's like, where? Right there. If there was just a ping here, you would know where it was. It's you know, stuff like that happened a lot. But I don't know. I think that it makes comms increase a little bit more. But it's a tough one, man. That's a really, really tough thing because a lot of people are going to say I miss it. A lot of people are going to say I hate it. So there's really never a tell, and it's whatever the devs think is going to be better because they're the ones making the game in the first place. And odds are they've been working around and trying to figure out how they can make all of these different systems that we're talking about work together in unison. And so they kind of know a little bit about what they're doing, I would think. But
It's a
when it
hard thing to
comes,
do because anything you give to a solo, a team may use against you. And you don't
yeah.
want to take anything away from a team. So it's really hard to find a system that covers both of those requirements at the same time. And my bad on cutting you off there, bud.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, yeah, a lot of the stuff that I pitched, and I mean, you guys have heard me say it before. I've said it to the devs several times. One of the things, like little things that I think would be easy, like let's say that the solos, and maybe not even every single raid, but let's say some raids, I'd be fine with every raid, but some raids, they get an extra evac, like for whatever reason. So that way they could be like, okay, I got to go to science campus, but all the evacs are over there. Maybe it starts blinking and it's like for like a minute and a half, you have an evac near your location, only for solos. So that way, if you want to go ahead and get extracted, you don't feel like getting into the PvP, you can go to get out with your gear and be safe. You got enough. You're ready to go. You just have to make that long trek, and it's like, boop, one popped up next to me. Ooh, cool, okay. So I go and hop up and go up on that. And that's only for solos. That might be a little thing they could add that would make life a little bit easier. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good example because you don't take anything away from the squad. You know, you're not taking anything away from the squad, and you're giving the solo more options. I love that suggestion. That's a very common suggestion, and that's also something I would imagine we likely test at some point. You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've definitely I've mentioned it verbally to the devs, so I think that they definitely know about it. In my opinion, teams already have an advantage over solos. Everything like pings and outlines are extra for the squad. That's true, Slady. Hi, stepbrother. What's up, G? Thanks. G, thanks for showing up. How you doing, buddy? You been out there polishing middle-aged men's bald foreheads? What have you been up to, dude? How you been? I have a really important question. The insurance, it was way too OP, and you didn't lose money, to be honest. You think so? I think that this... I mean, what do you think?
The K-Mark insurance is very powerful. You should... There's no reason not to K-Mark insure anything you ever have. And I do think it's a little strong, but the devs don't want people zeroing out in this game. Like, the devs don't want you getting to a point where you're out of money, you're out of gear, you don't want to play anymore. So while I think the K-Mark insurance is a little strong, I think it's an important part of the game to never zero out. I don't think anybody wants to zero out. You know, it's damn near impossible to zero out in this game, and I'm all for that.
Yep, me too. Necruzi, by the way, what's up? How you doing, Sweet Prince? I'd like to see solos. Are you talking about... Well, I crazy just said it, so solo-only servers is probably best bet. I will say against that, just because I've played games where you can do that, and it kind of defeats some of the randomness that you can run into. I don't know if it's something that they're going to be testing out, but personally, you know what you're going up against. You're like, okay, now I'm always going to be going against solo players. I know what to expect. I like to not know what to expect. I don't want it to be too much and too difficult all the time, but doing solo-only servers, I feel like could, especially with a game that at launch may not, it could blow up. It could be massive. But what if it's not? What if it's not super massive and there's not as many players, and then people are like, let's say solos are what everybody's doing, so the queues are better over there, they take less time, something like that. I don't know. I could see that being a big issue as well. I don't know what you think on it, though.
I mean, first and foremost, like I said earlier, Rick Deckard and DayZ aren't likely to change their core gameplay loop. When they sat down at a table and said, what kind of game do we want to create, the first thing that came out of Rick Deckard's mouth was tense uncertainty. And knowing that you're going to be with solos every single time kind of removes from the tense uncertainty. However, I think a really good in-between would be a map later in the future that is focused on solo play. I think that is a much more likely option than splitting queues across the entire game. First of all, that's a full rework. We got to go back to September of 2021 if we want solo queues. You got to remake the game for that. And unfortunately, we're way past that situation. I don't think that solo queues is a bad thing in itself. If it was done correctly, I'm sure it would work just fine. However,
I like what you said. I like the map made for it.
Yeah, it's the only option I see. And for me, They've talked about clans in the future as something they want to do. So, I mean, why not have a map for 12 people, like, 3 teams of 9 people, and why not have a map for only solos?
I
that
want clans.
makes sense. Yeah,
I like that.
That makes sense.
I like that you said that.
Yeah, and people say, how can you do clans? You only have 3 people at a time. Well, if you design a map with the intention of letting you queue up with 2 people, 2 groups, 6, 9, whatever they think, like that all becomes in the realm of reality. Asking for a queue split right now, while not a terrible idea, unfortunately, I don't think it's a pipe dream at this point.
Yeah. What's up, Zesty? How you doing, baby? Big kisses. Yeah, man, I love what you just said about the map thing, because you know why? Do you know what map that I've pitched as the 3rd map?
Please tell me.
Ooh, you're going to like this one. So those of you guys who watched the podcast that we did, I talked a lot about it in there. So I would love to see a map that would be perfect for solo only. Because I didn't think about this when I said it. I just said this would be a cool 3rd map. But if they make this a map that is solo only, that I think would make it even more intense. So I wanted a small map, because I think that would be extremely diverse to the content we've seen in the game thus far, with tight corners, not a lot of outdoor stuff. I want an urban, maybe like a half-built city towards like the more metropolis area. If they were like let's say they were planning a metropolis on this planet on Fortuna 3, but like half built, like it didn't really get built, and it's got a bunch of like construction and underwork, and the kicker, very small map, urban, so a lot of tight gunplay, because there's not a lot of that, you know what I mean, like coming around a corner, done, shit like that. Kicker, it's always in the storm. So for whatever reason, this part of the map is just in a constant storm. So basically there's indoor areas, like most of the map is indoor, like where you can like stay under where the storm would get you. But there's certain parts, like let's say the more high loot areas of the map, you have to go outside to travel to get to these other areas. And that would work perfect with your solo only map, dude. I don't know what you think about that, but
it would be glorious, man. I highly suggest. I highly not suggest, but I highly expect that when we get to season 3, when we get past what they have on the table right now and finish that up, I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking into things like that. It's perfect, dude. I mean, maybe it needs some adjustment here or there, but ideas of map-based player count over the entire game, I think is amazing, because we can keep what we have, which many people enjoy what we have. There's lots of people who, me personally, I'm not a super skilled player. I love going up against trios by myself. In fact, I'll throw on white armor and an AR-55 and I'll drop for 4 hours just doing that, because I enjoy the challenge. Now, I know I'm pretty much on the edge here. I'm the type that I'll die to a team, and I'm looking at what I could have done better for next time. And I know for a lot of people, it's simply frustration. I think you can fix both issues with the map idea, and yeah, really good one.
I think so. And what's up, Klepto? You just want Cycle Nuketown. I do want Cycle Nuketown.
That would be amazing. I would love it. That would be sweet.
Yeah, let's have a small map. But no, another thing that I thought would be cool that I would like them to maybe look into, and then maybe they already have. For me, what helped out solo play the most every time was all the stuff that I didn't see people using that much. And for a reason, they weren't using it that much. They were using their guns, but they weren't using their throwables, their other things that they could do. Not as much as they could have. Now, smokes, I pretty much towards the end saw a lot of people smoking the evac almost every time. That's an easy one. That's just, I was killed a little bit in the beginning at an evac, like sometimes sniped, sometimes from afar. You throw that smoke in there, you're putting yourself in a lot better position. Not to mention you can use it during combat. Like let's say you have a 3-man squad, and let's say you have all of your throwables. Let's say you have grenades. Let's say you have smokes. Let's say you have gas, which is surprisingly beneficial, and it does a shit ton of damage in PvE. I was surprised how much damage it did to Marauders. And then you have what the hell's that other grenade? Audio decoy, my favorite throwable in the game. So useful. Let's say you have all of those. So you go against the 3-man squad.
With the audio grenade is that the visual trail. Like, how am I going to hide from you and trick you when you can see the visual trail of the grenade throw? That's something I would like to see changed so that I could successfully use an audio grenade. If I sneak up on you and your buddy and you guys are looking in each other's backpacks and I throw an audio grenade, you're just going to see the green trail and follow it and find me. However, if I was able to throw it over your head and you turned the wrong direction and I was able to sneak up on you, now that's a useful audio grenade.
Yes, I agree. I think, did you see that in the clip you were just telling me you were watching of mine? Where the guy, we were double teaming him before I picked up that flechette. He tossed the audio grenade, and we're like, duh, that's an audio grenade right there. He's trying to trick us. There should not be a trail.
Exactly. A mile long. Yeah. Put a trail on frag grenades. I'm all for it. But smokes and gas or smokes and audio, no.
No, because that reveals position and everything. Yeah, and it makes it completely worthless. I could not agree more. It would make it so much more powerful. But I mean, I like the diversity of the gunfire that it already has, because if it was a specific gun every time, then it would be obvious that it's an audio decoy. So I like that it already has diverse gunfire from it. But yeah, you go up on that 3-man squad with, let's say, like all of those throwables, you are in a good position. Like I would try to go in with as a solo with like 3 audio decoys every time once I unlocked them with ICA. So that's where I come into the problem. I feel like there was a little bit of a wall with the new player coming in on getting them, because you had to craft them. Maybe there's no way you can fix this and make it still a grindable game, but if they could make them just a little bit more accessible. Wait, I fixed it. Maybe if they put them in as rewards for contracts and shit like that. So if they give us early like contracts. 5, early contracts, give me 5 audio decoys, some shit like that.
Hell yeah.
Dude, boom, fixed it. Devs, listen up. We're coming up with good ideas here. Jeez Louise. No, that's I think that would definitely work.
Someone write it down.
Somebody write it down.
I wanted to go back one step here, and this is going to be a fun one. So you're talking about extract camping and getting killed on the extract. I will tease everyone. There's a new mechanic built into the game to help with extract camping, but I'm not going to tell you anything more besides that.
Ooh. I mean,
brand new mechanic, nobody's seen besides the FTGers, and I think it's going to help quite a bit. So I'm excited for you guys to get in there and see that.
Hell yeah. I'm excited. I'm very excited. No grenade trails, period. Yeah, Space, that's a good point too, man. I mean, there was several times during the beta where I didn't die to a grenade because I saw the trail first, and I'm like, well, I'll just move over here. If you take that away, I think that you would get more grenade kills, because they take a second. And did I ever try? I don't think I ever tried. You can't cook them, right?
No, you can't cook them.
So you can't cook them. So because you can't cook them, yeah, I don't. It takes a certain amount of time to blow up. So maybe we could try without the trails. I think I might agree with you, Space Case, because you'd get more grenade kills, and I don't feel like I got as many grenade kills as I should have, because you could see them coming. So you're like, oh, I'll just move over here. We're back. What's up, JDM? How you doing, baby? Hope you're doing well, man. This is fun. I love, guys. I know that Last Saiyan feels the exact same. It's so good to be back talking about the fucking cycle again live with people. I mean, this is
I
what
love it, man.
This is where I'm at. I've already made the decision that this is the direction of my entire content. This is where I want to be. This is the game I want to be playing. And I think that a lot of you guys that are watching are there. Yeah.
Yeah, so for sure. And awesome. For me, I'm not a super skilled player. I mean, I'm pretty good. FPS skill wise, and I know everything about the game, so I would consider myself up there. But when I stream, like, what I like doing is interacting with the community. I like that I get special access as both a FTGer and I was a focus tester first. I started in this community as a focus tester. I'm really new to the content creation and to the partner program, but that's what I enjoy about it. I enjoy being able to share my experience and my knowledge with the community, and I love people asking me questions. I'm really hoping that I will, of course, be playing and
Why are you
like everybody else on release on Twitch and stuff, but I'm really hoping going forward that they'll continue to allow me to give you guys the sneak peeks on season 2. I want to go test some things for season 2, and I want to be able to come in here and talk to you about it, and that's what I'm really hoping to stick with and stay with. And same thing with my YouTube content, like I'm sticking with lore and information over, hey, look, I'm really good, because first of all, I don't think I'm that good, and there's a lot of other better players out there who can do that instead of me. So
yeah.
Super excited for the future, man. Super excited.
That's me, man. That's me. That's why I like Cycle. Honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons that I like to cycle. is because, dude, I loved the concept of Hunt. I loved the concept of Escape from Tarkov. I love the looter shooter genre, but this mini subgenre that these kind of games are, that's like more high risk, where you go in and you can lose it all, literally, and that sucks. But also, it makes the game super tense. It makes it more fun. It gets your blood pumping, because in Call of Duty and like Battle Royale, you just don't give a shit. You just die, you die. And so I think that this game has so much potential in that front. And I can't wait to hop back in either. I am not good at games. Like I am definitely, I love streaming. I'm more of a streamer. I like interacting with the community. So this kind of game just fits me, because it's not like you have to sit there and learn every little thing in the book. You know what I mean? There's like a massive med system that you have to learn, or some crazy semantics, ballistics about gunplay. Tarkov. And so there's all these things you have to know. This game isn't like that. You can pick it up pretty easily. And being a free-to-play game, I think they don't really have a choice. They have to have it be that way. Yeah, it's not a big learning curve. Anybody can hop in crazy, exactly. I love the game because I just do money routes, and I have to be the best shooter. Yeah, and Vonov, if you weren't here at the beginning, we were talking about how the specific money routes that you were running last beta may not work so well this time around. Yeah, the beta's over. That's right. How do you get the beta? Oh, the beta's not live, Bonk. Yeah, we're talking about the full release right here. Hey, who's slapping me? Chill, Luca. What? Damn, boy.
And to be clear, as a focus tester, I play an internal build that only a few people have access to. I'm sure most of you have heard about it. So it's not the beta that I've been playing and that we're talking about. We're talking about release here. This is stuff from release. Future, not past.
Yeah. Oh, for real? Yeah, Bonk. Yeah. So the game releases in less than 2 weeks now. So you're doing fine. So no more betas. No more talk about betas. That's something else I'm excited about. This is the first time that we get to play the cycle, and we don't have that overarching and pending doom of, oh yeah, but it's gonna end in like 3 weeks. Like, we get to just play, and it doesn't end. Like, that's so yeah, fuck betas. Exactly, Space Case. I'm so ready to just be in the game and not have to worry about it ending. How can I be a tester? I feel like I have so much to offer. 3,000 hours in Hunt. Well, do they have applications still open?
The applications aren't currently open, but I will take a minute here to give you guys a little bit of suggestions. So first, one big issue is people will not be involved in the community or involved in the feedback until the FTG is announced, and then they'll have feedback and comments. First of all, you're going to want to have the feedback in because you're doing the feedback. That's number one. That's the biggest part of it. Second part of it comes a lot to do with they're a German gaming company, and the hours that they run the test aren't great for American players often, so
right.
Playtime and community involvement is huge in terms of your consideration. And then on top of that, they get thousands of applications and they pick 20 guys, so you may very well be very qualified, and there's just so many papers in the stack. You just want to do what you can to make yourself look better before the applications come out. There's not currently an application. We should have an application come out, I would imagine, sometime after release.
Yeah, and I mean, Esk TV. So I'm guessing you're a content creator, right? I'm so hyped, it's hard to contain it. Yeah, man. Yeah, you are. So I wouldn't even really worry about it too much, to be honest with you anyway. I mean, the stuff that you would get to experience if you were a focus tester, you really wouldn't get to create content on, videos on, until the game is where everybody can play it anyway. So I mean, you're not in a bad position where you're at. The game's gonna release on June 8th, and you are just gonna make a bunch of content, make a shit ton of content. I promise you. So you're golden anyway, man. Because I haven't even done the focus test stuff either. That's why we got my boy here talking about stuff with me, dude. This situation, I almost died. I felt so bad. I was trying to go into
like 3 times already.
Like, yeah, I hate when you die to Striders.
Oh, dude, it's the worst. Those blue ones,
worst
especially when they get in the door. Oh, it's the you panic. Where the fuck am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? I can't kill him. I can't reload.
Well, I fixed it. I fixed it in the video. So this is not the video that I put on YouTube. This is the recording gameplay that I used for it, and this was the first run that I tried to do on this. It was for the keycard farm here at the center at the spaceport. But take audio decoys. If you take audio decoys and come up that back path to spaceport and toss it before because it took me a while to even realize that the audio decoys don't just work on luring enemy players, but it also works on the creatures too.
Yeah, that's a nice change when they added that.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that a lot. What's up, Gaiman? How you doing, man?
In fact, the gas grenades also will aggro the aliens. If you throw just a gas grenade, they'll run themselves into the gas like idiots.
What?
Yeah. Yep. They will aggro.
Like they did that last beta?
Yeah, it was on last beta. They 100% are aggroing on just a gas grenade.
I don't think I ever experienced that. I mean, I didn't use the gas grenade a whole lot. What I did realize is how OP the gas grenade is on the laser drill. Well, the laser drill start of game, because nobody was attacking the laser drill towards the end game, like the last day of beta. It was weird.
They are right with Jeff. I was talking about the Striders and the Rattlers run to it. Jeff is smarter than the dumb guys.
Ah, that's what it was, because I was throwing it at Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff will he'll walk through it and ignore it, but he won't go and stand in it. The smaller creatures will literally just go stand in it till they're dead, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Yep, and man, that does kill Jeff when you can get it on him. But with the laser drill, it has such a narrow pathway to the top. Let's say you're getting stormed by a bunch of guys and they're just trying to get upstairs, and you want to like hold them off for a second, so maybe you can heal, maybe you can reload or whatever, like, you know, get stuff from your teammates. You throw a gas grenade, which lasts for like what, 20, 30 seconds? Yeah, while. And they can't come up. Because it takes up the whole hallway that comes up. So we were using those on the laser drill. That is a baller move that you should definitely do.
Yeah, that's a move that you might want to keep in your repertoire for some new events. Those grenades are very, very important.
Very important. Keep that in mind.
Yes, sir.
Cough. So yeah, I definitely, and before we get into some of the final parts of what I wanted to discuss in this, dungeons is something we will be discussing here shortly, but I know I keep saying it. Dungeons, Sunday. But I definitely want to do more of this leading up to the beta. I mean, oh my God, I'm still in beta mode. Leading up to the full release, I definitely want to do more content like this, where we kind of just chat and discuss, you know, what's coming, what we'd like to see. If any of you out there are content creators and you played in the last beta, just so if you want to be a part of the cycle, if you want to start getting in now, this is my bread and butter. This is what I've been working on at YouTube. This is what I've been working on Twitch. I'd like to maybe get some roundtables going on with some of you guys. I really don't think it matters of what your size is. Maybe that is your prerequisite to be that you had some time in the beta, so we can kind of have something to talk about. But I'd like to get together and just maybe do a Discord call where we do this and we discuss what we'd like to see, what maybe go over like a whole tip session, like especially in the final week before the beta. I'd love to do some of those where we could do some streams teaching people, maybe people that haven't played the game yet or weren't that good in beta 2, like, hey, here's some tips for the laser drill. Hey, this guy was an expert at getting through the campaigns really quickly. What information could he share with us that would be helpful? Stuff like that. If you guys think you have something to offer and you'd like to help out some newer players, I really would like to do that with some of you guys. Make sure you let us know on Discord. You can hit up any of my mods or myself. That's fine. You can hit me up. Just hit me up. It's fine. I'm not that popular. I'm sure there's only a few of you anyway. So I know Space Case. I know I can expect from you. And Vasco, I know he was in here earlier, and he'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's a great.
I want it to be a community.
Man. Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful community. I fell in love with this game because of the community back in the old cycle before they did the rework. And it's been the community that kept me in it. I was a massive, I was pissed when they closed the old game off. I actually came to the first closed alpha, basically just expecting the game to be shit and with a lot of anger in my heart. And these guys have slowly turned me, the devs and the community. The community's kept me in it, and the devs have converted me to their vision, and I've moved past all that. And then, you know, it's just been an awesome community the whole way through, all the way back when there was just 400 of us playing. It was an awesome community. Now we got 20,000 on a beta, and still it didn't turn into a shit show of a community.
It's only going to be bigger, baby.
Discord. Yeah. We owe that a lot to the Discord and the mods and the work they put up there to have such a wonderful community.
And
Wesky, thanks for the motherfucking follow. Welcome to the grid.
thanks for the follow, buddy. We're glad to have you here, man. Lots of good, yummy things in your future are going to happen now. And I know one thing about, and this goes for anybody really that follows within, let's just say, the next, I don't know, 60 seconds. All my new followers, especially those that follow in that time frame, just seem to have one thing in common. And I haven't got to mention it this stream yet, but chat, can you guys kind of help me out? One of you guys have one thing in common, and it's just like magnets. Like magnets are drawn to each other. The people that are drawn to my stream to become members or to become followers of this channel just seem to have, it's so funny. You know, massive cocks, you know? I'm talking about OG Mudbone, Peter North, Ron, Jeremy Level Schlongage, those, big bangarang, heavy hitters, bro. Those horse leg hitters, man, the bigots. It's true. It's true. Ask any of the followers. There it is. Every time I say it, man. Every time. Thank you, K-Pope, for the follow. Glad you just outed yourself. We know you're real now.
That's my
this
sister.
Dude's over
That's
here.
Funny.
That's your sister? That's your sister?
She helps me a lot with my YouTube videos and stuff like that, making sure I'm not making mistakes and dumb stuff.
You don't have that. You're good. Tis the game. Tis the game. Lex Steel. Yeah, Lex Steel too, Klepto. Good. I love it. I love the community, and that's why I want to have you guys in the chat, in the community, involved as much as possible in what we're doing. Because, I don't know. I remember, especially the content creators out there, if you just play the game and you want to be in some of our future talks on this channel before we go into full release, and even once we go into full release, I still probably will continue doing this stuff if the community wants it. It depends on what you guys want to see. Right now, there's nothing else to do, so this is what we're doing. But so I love it. We're having a good time. But man. I especially the smaller creators.
Yeah,
hey, I try to be.
I really enjoyed your little round table with Rufio and Dilbo and all that, and I think you're perfect. You fit right there in that, your attitude, your stream, the way that people just feel comfortable talking to you, man. I think it's great for you. So I'm glad that we met way back in the day. So
long time. Yeah, it's been a long time now.
Help each other out a little bit, and it's paying off well for both sides, and hopefully we'll continue to.
And it should, and that's kind of what I was about to get at. Is like, especially for the smaller creators out there, I know what it's like. I was a small creator at one point. I still consider myself a small creator, but I've definitely had some traction here and there, mostly on YouTube, but here on Twitch as well, especially when it comes to the cycle during that last beta, we were hitting hard, and I plan to hit even harder on this full release. But I want to help you guys too. I want to do this together. Like I want to, if I can give you guys the opportunity that you're planning on exclusively creating content for this game when it comes out, I want to give you the platform, the community of other creators that are doing the same thing to grow together, to raid each other at the very bare minimum, stuff like that. But also being in people's streams, playing together, having streaming at the same time together, squad playing together, like all that stuff. That's what I want to see with this game, because you see it with Tarkov. Let's just keep giving that example. You see people doing that with Tarkov. They have teams like Evasion GG and shit like that. I'd love to start something like that for the cycle. I think that's going to need it. There's going to need to be competitions, and I saw Lukey doing a really cool one. I don't know if you guys saw that during the beta, but towards the end she did a super cool competition where I think that it was teams of 3 and whoever came out with the most loot value, because that's really the only way you can compete in this game, with a bunch of different teams, but whoever had the highest loot value for the weekend out of their 3-man squad. I want to do shit like that and have real prizes for you guys, like real prizes, like $100 gift card, cool shit. And I plan to do a lot of giveaways when we start into full release too. So this is all about us. Now, that's That's definitely stuff that I want to talk about. Dungeons are the most anticipated new activity coming at full release. And if you made it this far into the video, the Cycle Frontier obviously butters your biscuit, you sexy bitch. Consider subscribing as a partnered Cycle creator. This channel will be the source for upcoming content and guides of the game. And a new sub is the best way for me to tell that the videos I'm making are actually good. Thanks in advance, sweet cheeks. Now let's talk dungeons. Talk about, but what you guys want to hear is talking about dungeons. Now, I'm not sure how much we can say or what we can do with it. I can tell you right off the bat before we get into the full bit of anything. A fear that I've had with dungeons is as soon as I read the previous blog where they had the announcement and they talked about dungeons, is that they said that teams can come in and take your, or an enemy player can come in and take your goodies if you're not careful. They can get you on your way out, I think is the exact words that they used. Obviously, you're not going to tell us really anything, but I'm hoping that there is a plan in place to prevent total and utter camping, where you know somebody's in there, you hear their gunshots, you know they're about to be coming out, you find a good spot to sit, and they just spend all that money or supplies or resources to get access to that dungeon, and then you just took it all away just like that. I hope that there's plans in place to try to prevent something like that from happening. Did we lose you?
No, I'm still here. I'm just thinking, like I said, I got to be really careful when we talk about dungeons.
Yeah.
So if I'm silent, it's just because I'm watching my words more or less.
That's absolutely understandable. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
You know, I do bad things on OBS sometimes.
Again, I would point back to I've said a few times now about Daze and Rick and their mindset on the game. I think that's fair. In their point of view, you should never be able to do something without the threat of PvP. There's always going to be the threat of PvP. Now, does this mean you're going to walk into the dungeon and you're just going to get swarmed by people? No, not at all. First of all, how often did you see a laser drill in CB2 while you're playing in Bright Sands? Probably not very often. It's going to be pretty similar, because now we've got a third in-match activity. So now instead of just between laser drill, which was really good, and oil pump, which wasn't very good, so basically only people were doing laser drills, and you still didn't see that many of them. It's going to be the same thing. You're not going to go to Crescent Falls with your best gear and sit at the dungeon and wait to see somebody. If you do, you're likely going to be sitting there for hours and see nothing. It's not something easy to achieve. It's not something easy to start, and it's not something easy to succeed in. You shouldn't go into a dungeon thinking I'm going to complete this and have an easy walk out, because there's a reason it's the final IMA. It's no walk in the park. It's incredibly difficult, even for the best geared and the best coordinated players. There's a lot of tricks and surprises in there. On top of that, it's not a one way in, one way out. There's choices. Again, I can't really get into there about choices. But
that answer right there is I mean, I know you can continue other things, but I think that I just want to repeat that real quick for everybody. There are choices on
there's choices.
So I'm some choices when you go in there on how you can get in and get out. And that's the ultimate info that we have on that.
Basically, the devs know how difficult it is. They know, and I'm sure it's still early for them. It's their first dungeon. They've never done anything like this ever on any of their games. It's completely new in this genre, the way they're doing it, maybe there's something in Tarkov similar to it, scavs and stuff. I don't know for sure. I don't play Tarkov much myself, so. But you mentioned, what if I'm in the dungeon and someone hears me in there? Well, that could go both ways. What if I'm in the dungeon and I hear you out there? And also, the devs know that a lot of people are going to get here and they're going to go in there and they're going to be like, wow, what the fuck did we get ourselves into? They don't want you to die. The goal isn't to kill you. The goal is to progress. The goal is to figure something out and come and try again later. Move forward a step and come and try again later. They don't want to send you in there to kill you, because you're going to have to be fully juiced. You're going to need steroids in each arms. You're gonna need your butt puckered fully when you walk in there. Like it's no simple task by any means, and the devs have thought pretty well about it. They've done a really good balance of what ifs and how to deal with it. I understand a lot of the worry of, oh, I'm gonna do all this work and you're just gonna come blast me. There's a lot more to it than that. Quite a bit more to it.
That's good. I mean, that's definitely what I want to hear. The biggest thing for me is that there are going to be multiple ways, and I mean, I think that the thing that people were most scared of is that it was going to become another mine shaft entrance, where you know you just literally just they're in there, you hear them mining from pretty far away from the door while the door is closed, and you could just open the door and really chuck a bunch of grenades and wait for them to start running up like, you know, cockroaches coming out after you turn the light on. Like that's what it ended up. That's what I saw a lot, and it happened to me a lot. And I would imagine the dungeon is large enough, I would think, where it's not going to be just some little tiny cave either. I imagine that it's going to have enough room to where you can't do something like that specifically. But that was a little frustrating, and I get that.
Yeah,
I get that from people.
It's I can safely say it's bigger than Mine Shaft for sure.
Good.
However, like I said, it's their first time. It's their first dungeon. The amount of improvements we've seen in that dungeon from test to test blows my mind. The tension, challenge, excitement, surprise, every single time I go back in there, I'm like, okay, well, I thought they did good before, but holy shit, they're really getting there. It's still got a long ways to go, and I imagine they're gonna eventually have a lot of dungeons, would be my assumption. For a first one, like, really good job. They did really good job for their first attempt at it, and continuously getting better.
Well, I mean, anybody could look on the previous maps we were on and see that they do have multiple potential entrances if they wanted to use them. So I've seen them, we've seen them, and they're identified. But yeah, I mean, we're past the point where we know where it comes from, right? How you gain access to it.
Yeah.
We're good with that. Okay. So yeah, so everybody knows. So the laser drill comes from Korolev. That's the end game. The ICA end game is the oil drill. Did I say that twice? No, I said laser drill, right? Yeah, oil drill comes from ICA.
Oil pump.
And so oil pump. Yeah. And then the Osiris end game is going to be this dungeon, which is going to be something that you have to acquire, access, and then use once you are at the applicable location on the map, which I'm sure that we can't really get that much into that stuff.
Yeah, we won't get much into that. But anyone who completed Osiris and CB2 and did any amount of reading likely has a pretty good clue. And on top of that, throughout all of Crescent Falls, there are hints and clues that were in CB2. So a smart or detective should be able to put it all together pretty easily. I'm not gonna connect the dots for anyone, but all the dots are there. They were all there in CB2. So
Osiris is still OP to grind out. Woodstock says, I think so. I mean, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I mean, I want to see the dungeon. I've seen the laser drill and the oil pump, so I think that come June 8th, I mean, really, would you go on to map? I don't think I've ever been in a situation where, like, I'm gonna only do Osiris missions. I do whatever's closest, and then if like it's Osiris, then I do it. So when I say that, I'm really just gonna do whatever's beneficial. But I do want to work hard on getting through Osiris as fast as possible, because that's what I want to see. I want to see the dungeons. That's what I'm very interested in doing. But yeah, there was something I just read that was really good too. Let me see. I mean, is there anything else that you're able to allude to potentially on the dungeons, whether it's
I came across your videos,
creature wise or anything that you might be able to get further into or not?
Keep them in your lobby.
I mean, anybody who completed the mission should know at least one of the creatures, but I'm not gonna myself say any of it.
Okay.
It's something I likely could say, just because it's out there. But again, I think only the hardest workers have those clues. Only the people who paid the closest attention. So we'll go ahead and just leave that up in the air for now.
Fair enough. What was that question? It says. He said suggests everywhere. Will
Now I'm in the video.
will dungeons be able to be done solo? Are you able to answer that one?
The plan likely isn't for it to be soloable. Has someone done it solo? Someone has. Does that mean you're gonna do it solo? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We had access to every item in the game at free will, and it was still incredibly difficult. So in a real life situation, I'm sure someone will. I'm not gonna say nobody will, but it's not something the average player could consider. You should be looking for friends if you want to get that
So
far.
you don't do your videos.
Yeah, unless you're that guy. You know, there's gonna be that guy
they're out there, for sure.
There's gonna be that guy on YouTube that's like speed run dungeon solo. Like there's gonna be that guy, and if you're, if you're that guy or not. But you should be able to be honest with yourself. But I mean, I feel like it's like the laser drill and the oil pumps. I mean, technically you could do the laser drill solo. It just was not. If it wasn't towards the end of the beta where people just weren't attacking the laser drill anymore towards the end of the beta. But if it was towards when they first started seeing them, where everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I've ever seen one, so I'm going to keep attacking them. You never wanted to be on that thing solo. That would be awful. I mean, you can survive potentially, but it is so much easier to survive with a squad. So I imagine it'll be somewhat similar to that. It can be done, but it's going to be a lot easier to bring people with you.
Damn. That's all right.
So
yeah, no problem.
I'm going to be the first one. Yeah, are you, Ivanov? Who's going to be the first one to do the speed run of the dungeon by themselves? Who's it going to be? It's going to be you, Sistro?
I have a full video for the dungeon, but I'm not going to release it until people have done the dungeon, because I'm sure I could release it on day one and get a shit ton of views. But for me, it's more important for the community to be able to get in there and see that. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't mean this with any negative connotation at all. The content creators have stuff going on. They've got their communities. They've got things going on. Shutting off their streams and come playing a very busted, broken test for a few hours is likely not their best move. So I don't think any content creators recorded anything on the jungle this weekend. So maybe someone did, and they'll beat me to it and they'll ruin the surprise. But me personally, I'm gonna wait till it's common knowledge of what's going on. A couple people have finished before I drop my video on it. So I'm so excited for people to see it, dude. It's gonna be amazing. People are gonna be scared. People are gonna be excited. People are gonna be fucking surprised. Like there's just so much I wish I could say, and I just got to top it off with excitement. And I'm not ruining it for nobody, because it's that good in my opinion.
I like that. I mean, I agree. I feel like you should leave it up to the viewer or to the player, really. Like, it's fun to experience things for the first time and really not know what you're like. That's some of the beauty of video games. So I mean, it's like getting to really experience it for yourself and not knowing. And so yeah, I agree with that. Is mid-tier weapon crafting gonna be a thing? Weapon crafting at all? I don't know if I haven't read anything about that. I don't know if that's something you've looked into at all.
Outside of balancing, the weapons remain relatively the same. The balance is far from the same, but I mean, we're no new guns yet, no massive gun changes. No, we got some visual reworks, which is cool, and I'm excited for you guys to see. But nothing super drastically changing with the weapons.
Yeah,
especially not the ability to craft them yet. Maybe looks like there's a printer in your quarters. Looks like you could print guns in the quarters, but as of now, I don't know of any plans.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, I definitely know they were making changes to the map. I know that because they said that in the last blog, where they were saying that there's gonna be a lot less traps, like where you could get stuck in a plant or a rock. So they're gonna try to, they were trying to remove as much of that as possible, which is good, because this isn't, this isn't Call of Duty. This is, if you die on this map and you have full exotics, that would suck. And it happened to me, so I get it.
Yeah, man, Tsuji is a god among men. He's the one who does the main working on the maps, and he's awfully busy working on the new one right now. But he's awesome, man. I really love that guy. He's very passionate about it, He's one of the devs that sit in the Discord with us hours at a time in voice chat talking to us. We'll say, hey, this is messed up. He'll go right then and there and go and fix it. Hey, this grass is 90 meters in the air. He'll go right then and there while talking to us and go and fix it. So, and not to say that the other devs aren't also that passionate. But Tsuji, he's right up there, man. He's one of the best in the entire community, and he also happens to be heavily involved in those maps. And bro, the maps, my God, they're so beautiful. Just if you go back and look at look at the old Cycle game, it's so bland and boring. And I used to think it was a beautiful game back then, and now I go back and look at it now, and it's just, I mean, I'm not saying this is like Red Dead Redemption on Ultra or Star Citizen or something, but like it's so beautiful. I'm so impressed, and the map team is small, man. That's a small group of guys, and what they bring to us with the power they have, I will be forever impressed.
Yeah, I love Crescent Falls. I am so in love with just not the visuals only, but like the map design. I love the verticality of it. I think when you get into the center, where you have Spaceport, you have the Green Prospect, you have all those buildings to the west, like in between, like where there's that huge like canyon where you could see almost 2 or 3 levels of playable map that has like different houses on it and bridges that lead across. That is one of the coolest freaking things that, and it's, I just want to see it so much more utilized, and like people running through them and getting each other just with reasons to go there. I love that map so much. The verticality of it is insane to me.
For sure.
So yeah,
for sure.
I want to see more people trekking across that. Can you ask if he can tell us if dungeons are worth it or more worth it in comparison to loot from the drill or the pump? That's up to him.
It's worth it. It's worth it, no doubt. I mean, it's the in-game, in-match activity. Of course it's worth it. I'm not going to tell you how much K-marks or how much gear you're going to get out of it, though. It's worth it, without a doubt.
Will the dungeons be unlockable at the start from the 8th?
I mean, it's faction-based, so probably not on the 8th, but within a few days, I'd imagine some super sweaty gamer's going to get there.
Right. Okay. I think that's what he's asking. Just making sure that they will be activated during the preseason. Okay. Yeah, I figured they were. I think they said that.
They should be. I won't say yes or no for sure.
Things can happen, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure. And actually, if you guys recall, CB2 got delayed like at the last minute. They're like,
it did.
And because sometimes things come up at the last moment that went unnoticed. So, I imagine we'll be there with dungeons on the 8th, but we'll have to see. Still, it's the newest thing. They're still working hard on it every day. They're
That's probably a good time to mention
sleeping,
that too. Yeah, I would say, just like with beta 2, anything could happen between now and June 8th.
Yeah.
Like, be prepared for that. Like, if they say, if we're getting into early June and they say, we're gonna have to go back a week, that could happen. Like, just be prepared. That could happen. Although that is not the current plan as far as everything we've been told, as much as you've been told. The plan is for June 8th to go live, but be prepared. Be prepared. Like it's always the worst when you see people. I like when I see a tweet about it and everybody's like, yeah, dude, take your time. We just want to see it good. When you see comments where people are like, why is it delayed? Fuck you guys. Like, dude, chill. Like, it's going to get released when it is. And then it's not going to be in beta, so you can play it forever once it's finally out.
What I like to say a lot is I feel like it's a really relevant reference is that, so they're baking a cake, right? And they've got all these ingredients that they're trying. And right now they got all the ingredients right. Like, I honestly believe the game is in the best state it's ever been at in terms of balance wise. But that cake, they might put it in the oven a little too short or a little too long. They're still trying. We're not 100% there yet, but like all the ingredients and the game plan is right. We just need to get the cook time right, and should have a wonderful, wonderful product coming out on June 8th.
Hell yeah!
With a lot more to come in the future, man. They still got a lot planned still after that. This isn't June 8th and we're done. Like, this is June 8th and we're starting. They've got so many goalposts to pass coming over the next few years. They're heavily committed into development with every wipe. They're not just going to drop this on us and leave. Like, they got big plans. They got a lot of things coming.
Absolutely. I Failed College, great name, says, is the orbital cannon the key to get in the dungeons, or is it a physical key? and I will let you answer that however you see fit.
Just next question.
Good. Our inventory is fixed. Keys and weapons mods still stackable, etc. Inventory's fixed. Still stackable. Yeah, that real quick, because I'm gonna forget if I don't, Woodstock. Dude, something I've been saying is I wish that you could do like Tarkov or some of the other inventories where you can drag and drop to different like take an item and then put it in whatever slot you want to. Instead, it kind of just shoves it all to the top, right? I was thinking about that during the beta. I was like, please add that in. But keys and weapon mods are still not stackable, is what you're saying. I don't know if they ever had a plan to do that, to make mods and keys stackable.
I'm not that I've heard of.
Yeah.
And I also didn't check, so I couldn't honestly answer if there was a change to that or not.
Alrighty. And let's see. Are dungeons available on release? Yes, Trippy. This is we were talking about that a second ago. So on June 8th, the plan, as we said before, things can happen, things can change. The plan they're working with right now is to have it activated and ready to unlock as of June 8th, as soon as you get to that part of the campaign. Changes to the station. Good question, Bubbath. Is there anything? I mean, I know we talked a little bit about social. So one thing for sure that most of you should know, but if you don't, people will be back in the station. Like other players will be there. You won't be there by yourself.
That was one of the coolest things for the FTG is they gave us a start time. I was about 10 minutes late. I logged in and there was people everywhere. I just love it. It made me feel so happy that they've got that fixed and apparently working. Okay, me personally, I nuked my accounts so many times over the FTGs. My accounts at one time had 15,000 errors on my Last Saiyan Prince account. I went with no issues. I was able to make friends. I was able to add friends. I was able to drop with people. I was able to see when people were dropped. I had zero issues with social things over the weekend. And again, that's 20 dudes, not 20,000. So we'll have to see how it comes. But both my Epic and my Steam account work perfectly. And big thanks out to Joxer for spending so much extra time specifically on my account to make sure that not only I got fixed, but the several other people that were having the same issue as me. And it was a very limited issue. There's like 10 people through the whole thing had what I had. But still, he pounded it out. He messaged me day after day, and it seems I got it fixed. So like I said, man, the devs I'm a big fan of all of them that I've got to spend time and got to know. They're all awesome guys and girls.
Hell yeah. Also, thanks, Infected. I try. It's about the product, baby. Yes, Dungeon Very Fit. Yeah. And you said, you mean like in CB2, you had a ton of mods and it would take up like 1/3 of your inventory slots. So you would have to dress your spare weapons just to keep your inventory clear of them. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you. There was a shit ton of mods and I would like to be able to hoard mods in a way, mainly because I die a lot and I like to put mods every time on my gun before I go out. I love it. So
yeah, it's part of the
I
loop.
get that.
It's a fun part of it.
Yeah, I get that. I get how you would want to be able to store as many as possible without it taking up so much space. That's fair. I mean, that's something they could definitely look into, but it's all about balance.
Like an attachment box in the quarter or something. Keys and attachments in the quarter. That'd be awesome. I don't know of any plans though, so all random ideas from any of us. Oops, sorry about that.
For sure. A key ring. Oh, that's cool. I don't mind that. I think a key ring's kind of cool. Something that maybe you could craft at like a higher level, or something that you could get from one of the high-end missions or something, like something that's hard, make it hard to get. But I think a key ring would be kind of cool. Yeah, I don't have any quarrel with that.
Maybe just don't make it so there's 5,000 keys dropping. I looted so many keys, dude. My God, it was insane in CB2.
For me, yeah, and I know they have to have taken this all into account. But yeah, for me, I had so many keys because I wasn't using them. I just didn't use keys. I mean, I did sometimes,
most of the
but
rooms sucked.
There wasn't anything in them. I mean, there was, but it was like, there's nothing crazy, nothing you would, like, I had 3 or 4 epic keys that I used all the time, and very, very rarely did I find anything. Like, the time that I got, like, some of the best guns or best things in the game, they were from stashes. They were from hidden stashes, like, out of all things. Like, most of the people that got the night vision helmet in game got them from stashes. Almost everybody I talked to that got one, they were like, yeah, stashes. Like that, you should put that in the locked room. Like, I don't know. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I like what Squirrel's saying, to have much fewer keys with much higher use rate. Like, I don't want 10 keys with 5 uses each. Just give me 1 key with 50 uses and make it much rarer. I feel like that's a really good approach. Even to create, like, I don't think creating a key ring, I think that's just a band-aid to the problem. The problem in itself is your desire to use them and the amount you find. I think that's the real issue.
Yep. Let's see. Just when you get a second key, it would add charges to the old. I don't think I know what you mean. And can you buy mods that is Hoiger? You guys are not speaking right.
The first guy is saying. The first guy is saying the cards would be like a credit card, that you could get more keys and just put more uses on it. Like, you don't need, you just need one of each key, and every time you find a quote unquote key, it would just raise your usage on it.
That makes sense. Also, so there's definitely been changes made to the map. Besides and somebody was asking if there's any information that they've given on potentially like adding a new map anytime soon, if it would be later on in the seasons, if it would be sooner. Do you have any info you're able to give us about that?
I believe, and this is not me stating fact, this is me thinking it's fact. I believe they are planning for season 2 for the next map. They have given some hints and tips here and there. I know quite a bit about it. It's hard for me to distinguish what they said out loud. I would suggest, if you want to know more about the third map, to go check out the dev blogs and potentially some of the like, I think Scarlet talked to Days about it a little bit in some of the old interviews. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to accidentally say something I shouldn't. That's one of the difficult NDAs for me. I've got like 10 of them, you know, and it's different for every person I talk to. So there is information out there on the map. I believe season 2 they should be bringing it out.
And you said, what's this talk about money run change? We were he was just telling us earlier in the interview that some of the really 100,000 mark, like crazy loot runs that people had showed you that pretty much work every single time, or that maybe you found yourself, might not work as well during the full release. They've taken a look at how easy it was to pinpoint and say, oh, I have the game figured out now. Every time I drop in on this map, I am doing this route, and I will make generally between this much and this much every time. And I get that, and I back that completely, because that's cool, but you don't want that, because then, one, you're only going to that part of the map every time, if you can, and there's no uncertainty to that, and that goes against their main mantra that they had originally started, which is having, that uncertainty when you drop into a map, having that high risk and uncertainty is what this game is all about. So I'm all 100%. For making it not like that. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm not, I'm not saying per se that they removed anything, just more so that there's a lot more options out there that may or may not be more lucrative or less lucrative compared to what you're used to. So,
how'd you feel about the difficulty of the AI? I don't think, maybe it was just me, they kind of lacked in difficulty. Maybe dungeons are going to be way harder though. I mean, I don't know. It depends on where you went. In some places, especially on Crescent Falls, it felt like to me they were pretty difficult. But to humor you, I don't think they were as difficult as they could be to make you not want to fire in certain situations, or making you not want to engage in PvP because you don't want to attract, certain AI that could be around you. I would imagine that's probably going to be harder, and I think that Last Saiyan would back me up upon full release.
Give me just 1 second. I'm sorry.
You're golden, man. You're golden. AI was difficult for the wrong reasons. You think so? What do you mean, Woodstock? I guess you've never been chased by 10 white striders in a room. Dude, yeah, those striders do not mess around. When they get on you, they're so much harder to kill. The red striders, done deal. You're knifing them dude, I didn't realize till like 5 days into the beta that you could charge up the knife hit, the melee. And so I didn't know that. And so that's a one hit every time on striders. Yeah.
Yeah, so when it comes to difficulty on the mobs, I actually interviewed Nasink. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Nasink. She's the lead creature designer, and that was one of my main things for her. And the way she explained it to me, thank you, sweetheart. The way she explained it to me is that they don't create anything in this game just to create things. They don't give striders an attack just to have them have an attack. In fact, the skills that the aliens do possess are all deeply integrated into what they consider the difficulty of the map. Specifically, I asked her, would maybe one day we get an elite version of a strider that could climb on a box, so that you can't climb on a box, because that's what everybody does right now. You get on a box, you shoot them, you're good to go. And she told me specifically, which is the opposite of what she said, that no, they are going to leave it that way, that it's part of the game design, that is what that creature does. That when we get new creatures, there will be a reason for new creatures. When the creatures get new attacks, there will be a reason for them getting new attacks. Just adding more attacks to make them more difficult, and someone was mentioning they're difficult for the wrong reasons because they're bullet sponges. Well, that's just what those aliens are. They have plans in the future for more aliens. So I would agree right now. Hopefully that's something that's with the next creature that's coming is gonna change a lot of a lot. So when we get there, you guys will see that, and you'll know a little bit more about it. But for right now, we just kind of gotta live with them being the way they are, and just have faith that there's something more coming later that's gonna be a big change. And if they do too much to it now, their plans later won't work. So
that's fair. And completely unrelated, but I just thought about it, and it was a question that was asked a long time ago, and I had a follow-up to it. But so the bucket approach, you worked a little bit with the PvP on during the focus test, and the bucket approach that they've been talking about was they're trying to make it a little bit easier, not just on solo players, but also on any players that are new to the game. So when you first start out in the game, they want to keep you here. They don't want to put you in too much right off the bat. I mean, do you think that from what you played with it, I mean, I don't know if that was activated or not, or what you know about the bucket approach, but do you think that that's going to actually make a difference for new players?
I don't know much about the bucket system. I don't think I know anything that anybody else knows or not.
Okay.
I will say it did cause us some issues while trying to get in groups together and fight with a massive change. Like we got some guys who are only there to search for places to get stuck, and then I tell them to come out in PvP, and we can't as easily get into a map with them as we could before. So it does seem to be working. Like how effective is it going to be? I have no idea. Me personally, and again, I know this is not popular, or this is not what the devs want. Me personally, I like no MMR system at all. I just
me
first
too.
of all, when you add in an MMR system, you instantly add in people trying to exploit that MMR system. And then second of all, like newbies need a newbie protection, no doubt. Newbies need newbie protection. But like my account got reset right halfway through the beta here on CB2, so I played my new account from day one. I'm really good with the AR-55. I shoot it in aim labs. I love the gun. I'm planning on running that gun for like the first week, So I'm in white gear. I'm in white armor. I'm in super low because I haven't hardly played. It's a new account, and like I'm easily able to run through lobbies, and that's what I don't like. Having that into the system. Me personally, I would prefer a completely random system. The devs, however, they're not looking at me. They're looking at me. They're looking at you. They're looking at the 13-year-old who downloaded it on Steam. They're looking at everybody, So I think a bucket system is needed. For everyone, not for me. I think it is needed for everyone.
And then cut off, no MMR after the bucket.
Yeah.
You think that would work? Because I do. That's what I think. I thought the same. By the way, Dutchy, what's up, baby? Thanks for the punches to the face. And yeah, maybe some more scum at some point, Dutchy. But we're on that cycle shit right now, bro. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. We talked about it a lot. I know Dilbo probably agrees more than anybody with that statement. Like, he was huge on that. That, you know, just give a buffer. Just like with any game, give the buffer. Let the new players kind of play against the new players and easier, you know, people that aren't as good at the game for a minute. And then once they get past that buffer, random. Because like you said, what's the mantra that they were looking for? Uncertainty. If you're in the MMR and you know what your MMR is, you're like, okay, my MMR is really high. I'm going to go against sweat lords and maybe cheaters. Know that's what's going to happen.
And you also just highlighted the second problem with it, which is perception. A lot of times you're going to want to blame the MMR for putting you in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that leads to a lot of complaining about the MMR and not a lot of internal soul searching to see what you did wrong. That's like a secondary issue with the MMR that I see. It just becomes the scapegoat for everyone. Oh, this game sucks because the MMR keeps putting me in with all purples. Instead of I progress super fast through the game and now I'm with the best players, you know, like it's just, I feel like kind of like the gear gives people a crutch. I feel like the MMR is kind of a crutch for what you're doing wrong, which I think is
get good. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that you know why? Because I'm a fucking culprit. I did that, and I think that I didn't even really think about it while I was doing it, but that's 100% what will happen is anytime somebody's like, well, it's just a fucking MMR, that's why I'm losing. I feel like a lot of people did it. No. We're not saying that. I'm not saying there's no MMR currently. I'm saying that's what we would like. That's what we would like to see is really, I mean, we've been vocal. I think that a lot of people have, and the devs are aware of it, though, like we mentioned before, the game is built a certain way, and the devs have a specific vision for it that they're trying to make. In their vision right now, the type of MMR they're trying to work with, they're trying to figure it out and make it work the way they see it. The bucket is a huge improvement to what we've seen before. And I'm sure that they've made other behind the scene changes to MMR because they've heard all of us say these things. So they probably made a couple changes to that to make it more flowing. Have they looked into more ways of dealing with hackers in the game?
Of course. They've been... Yeah. I know we had a lot of issues in CB2. And we did. It was bad. I know it was bad. And I would never tell anyone that it wasn't bad. But what I would also try and get people to maybe consider is that would you put your cards on the table in beta? You know? Are you gonna go all in on the first hand, or are you gonna wait till we get a couple cards dealt to see what kind of information you can get out of them, you know? And I'm by no way saying that they just let them cheat so that they could figure things out, because they have been trying to fight it. They continue to try to fight it.
Right.
And I don't know how many people played towards the end of the CB2. It was really good. The improvement from mid CB2 to end CB2 on the cheaters was massive. It was huge, huge change. I would imagine that's priority 1 for them. I mean, priority 1 is don't break the game, and priority 2 is don't let cheaters break the game. It's just, they don't take it lightly. They don't think that there was not, they know there was problems. They're for sure looking at those problems. And for Alice, you know, he is the best among us. That is the single best guy in the entire community, and he takes it very seriously. He not only on his community side of it, because of course you're a community manager, you got to take it serious, but he's got Battle Eye on speed dial for 4 o'clock in the morning to call and talk to people. It's they're taking it very serious. They are very aware that the game cannot be like the middle of CB2. It just can't. It can't.
Well, it can't. And they know that because this isn't Call of Duty where if you die, but you still put your skin back on when you come back. This game is a free-to-play game that has to be monetized by cosmetics and other content. If you put a cosmetic on a gun that you spent money on, and then you go out and a hacker kills you, you just lost literal money, like real-life money. So because of that, they know that is the biggest priority numero uno, 100%, because it has to be fixed, because that can't happen. That's huge. That's a big deal and could cause problems. They know that. Also,
the other good,
not
go ahead.
everybody needs to say immediately that they were killed by a hacker just because the guy that killed you didn't see him. Just saying, because I saw that a lot.
Yes. I got a few more points here. One, the server desync was horrible in CBT.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of the times, the almost legit looking clips that look like cheaters are actually legit. The guy wasn't cheating. He just has such insane desync. He sees you way before you see him, because you guys are 3 seconds desynced on the server. That was the vast majority of cheating reports. Now, there are still plenty of cheaters. I got cheated on myself on my stream, and I'm a nobody, and someone came out and just straight deleted us all instantly without a single bullet flying or a single noise, so they're definitely out there. But on top of the heavy battle eye integration, they're also working on something they call server-side heuristics. And I don't know how progressed they are, but I'll give like a random example. One of the really common cheats in closed alphas was the silent aim, and not like a Call of Duty silent aim, but it was a silent aim that would shoot 5 bullets at the same time. It would register the bullets as headshots, and you would die from it before the bullet ever left the barrel. That's why I'm calling it silent, because it made no sound. Now, you should not physically be able to shoot that gun 5 times instantly. So if the server was able to realize, hey, they just violated this ability of being past something that's humanly possible, we can flag them for a shadow ban. We can put them in, not let them drop until they talk to a community manager, or we could put them up for a review, or just depending on how bad the violation is. They're working on it from multiple different angles. They're not just going to depend on Battle Eye to keep them. They're not going to just depend on their own. They're shooting for a really balanced system, and then on top of all of that, they want to have a refund system. So say you player gets tired of sucking and he downloads some wall hacks and he comes kills me, and a week later he gets suspended for wall hacking. Well, I would get my insurance package, cheater package. I'd get my gear back in the quarters. And again, I'm being kind of generalized here. But it's the idea.
So you're saying that, like, let's say they track this guy. This is the first I'm hearing of this. So let's say they tracked a guy and found out that maybe the beginning from when he started using the wall hack, and from every player that he killed during that, they get all of their shit back.
Yep, should server side send you an insurance package, and you should go check your insurance package, and you'll be like, oh, that motherfucker was cheating. Look, I got a cheater package. Now, I don't know how progressed they are on this system. I'm not saying we're going into release 1 with this system working, but it's something they're working on. It's a piece of the pie that hopefully people can look at and be like, wow, they're being pretty serious about the hackers.
That's a serious move, man. That's a breath of fresh air. I fucking love hearing what you just said. That is so awesome. Also, Infected. Yo, bro.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the motherfucking...
Yo, Infected, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you for joining the most interactive stream on Twitch. Maybe not today because we are doing an interview, so I can't take too much time here to tell you that all my new followers have one thing in common. It really, this kind of just follows through for anybody that follows, let's say, in the next, 45 seconds. That all those new followers, including yourself, just have... it's like a joke your mom would have told you when you were young, but your dad probably inherited it to you. Your ex-girlfriend probably would lie about it if we asked her, but all my new followers have massive dongs. I'm talking about, that Lex Steele, that big Peter North, freaking, kind of veiny phallus. You know what I'm talking about? Well, of course you do, because you're a new follower, and it seems to be the same every time. I know that it's true because, well, every time I say this to a new follower, they never deny it. So, Infected. Is it true? Back to normal life. Ricky also said he sent in a lot of hacker clips, and the response he always got was already banned. It was such a good feeling knowing that they were so committed. Hell yeah, man. I mean, because it has to matter. I can't believe what you just told us, though. I know that it's not something that they know for sure is going to be active immediately, but the fact that they're working on a system like that is so beautiful. Because it matters.
They have to.
Yeah, they're paying for some of these things.
Like, I mean, if they don't do something like that, your only other option is like a two-form authentication, or like giving out limited keys to the game, or like you only have so many options on
Yeah.
a free-to-play game, you know.
Yeah.
And getting them out as quick as possible, and mending wounds is great. It's wonderful. Like I don't know. Even if it takes them a really long time to get there, just I feel comfortable knowing how serious Feralis and the team is taking it.
Oh, wait a second. Speaking of, that's another thing that we are finally going to get to all of us see. You've been seeing them, but something that we're going to finally get to see on June 8th, which is all of the customization. We're talking character customization. We're talking skins. We're talking all the shit's going to be there. So is that something that we would imagine to see in the space station, right?
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
so,
not gun skins. I mean, you're not carrying your gun on the station, but everything else for sure. Emotes, banners, spray paints. You know, you got different characters. There's multiple characters. There's skins for each characters. We're gonna have veteran skins that come from the old game with really cool people like me. Will have shit that you guys won't have, and you'll be like, "What the fuck was that?" Yeah, you'll never get it because we got it from the old game. There's skins and coatings. So you'll have spray paints that go on every single gun, and then you'll have coatings, which is like, you know, like turn the C-32 into like a dragon. You know, I don't know exactly what. I'm just making random shit up here, but there will be there will be you can go look at some of the old gun designs and see how cool they were. I mean, they literally had skins. Or
where would you look?
On just YouTube. Old the Cycle Storm Chasers will get you a lot of this. Instead of the Cycle Frontier, you would look up the Cycle Storm Chasers, and you can see how they don't just paint the guns, they actually go into pretty good detail. I don't know how much of that we're going to have on release.
Sure.
There's a lot. I mean, I made a real quick video of just showcasing some of the stuff from 3 months ago, and it was like, I'm like, wow, they got 90 options here, and that was months ago. So yeah, you know, I think we're gonna have tons of customizations. I don't know about you guys. I plan on getting them all. So.
Well, yeah, I plan on getting a few of them as well.
Maybe some Twitch drop ones would be nice, you know. Get some people in here, getting them some rewards for watching. That'd be another good cosmetic thing.
Hell yeah, we've been talking about that, man. Yeah, what are the Twitch drops gonna be, man?
I'm excited to find out.
Me too. I'm excited to find out because we don't know. We don't
really know. It's why we're talking about it.
We really don't
know. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about it.
That is 100% something we really do not have any idea what they're going to give us for Twitch drops to give you guys. And I'm excited. I'm going to have to watch streams so that I can get them too. And yeah, I can't wait to be decked out. And so, I mean, you do buy these? You buy them in the space station, right?
Yeah. Yep. So some of them you get from the Battle Pass. And now, again, I'm not going to say any of this with utter certainty, but I will rattle off basically. So you should have some you get for free from the free Battle Pass. You should have some you get for the premium Battle Pass. There's an individual, unique armor complete set, not piece, complete set for each one of the starter packs. And then we're going to have weekly and daily sales in the Windfall store there in the Prospect Station.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because it's obvious. We knew which ones it was going to be. We have it said it right on it, so I don't think I have any problem saying it. But they had the Battle Pass one that was right next to where like the main trader guy was. You could walk past that every time. And then there was like the, you know, skins and the knives guy and all the different like armor look right over near Korolev. And I'm guessing that's where you'd get all your skins from.
Yeah. So the first one is the Battle Pass, and like you said, we saw some hints at the Battle Pass skins in CB2, and then the stuff for sale is going to be out in front of the Lucky Leaf Man, the location you were just talking about, where I like to put myself in the station in my YouTube videos. That same spot.
Right. Oh yeah. You always do that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's my spot.
That's your spot, dude. Can you use Steam Wallet funds? I don't know. Do you know the answer to that?
No idea.
I have no idea either. I hope so. I hope that it's giftable because that's what I want to do. Like for me, I want to do giveaways all the time, especially at the beginning of the season. Just kind of like giving away as much as possible of, whatever type of cosmetics or in-game currency they allow us to that, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a system where us streamers can gift you guys things. I would like to see that, so that I can do really cool giveaways. I need a helmet skin that makes your character look like player 2. I don't know if you'd want that, man. You'd stand right the fuck out. You'd be getting sniped and headshots all the time.
Hey, I want all the glowy skins. I'm not trying to hide in shadows. I'm trying to have you see me and be like, what the fuck is that?
Come right out and about.
I need some player 2 sunglasses and some glowing guns. That's what I need.
I thought it'd be cool if they had, like we talked about it in the last podcast that I did about having a sheen for the armor. Like that, like if it's purple armor, a little bit of a purple sheen. Like that way you don't even have to fire on, because once you fired on them, it's on. But like, I wish there was a way to tell before you fire on them, because in other games like Marauders, Tarkov, and stuff like that, like you see the armors look different. Like you can say, okay, that's a bulky armor set. That one's going to require this type of gun to get through the fastest. It'll retire. You know what I mean? I know what I'm rocking right now. And my gun isn't going to be able to do the damage, I think, to that I'll be able to kill them in time. They're going to kill me faster. So I do wish they had some type of visual way to tell before you fired upon them what they're rocking. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I would be fine with that. I don't care either way. I think it's a cool feature to have. At one point, we were able to see what backpack size you on, and then we played for a while. You couldn't even tell what backpacks people had on.
No.
So it's like you can't even be like, oh, he's got a purple backpack, and even use that. Personally, I think you should have information if like you take the time to get it. Like if I stalk somebody and scan them with my mineral scanner and I find out they have purple armor or something like that, I'm all for that. The issue that I see is that the cosmetics are so drastic from each other. Like you know, I don't know how you're gonna visually indicate while you're wearing cosmetics, because we don't actually wear armor on our tunes. It's cosmetics on our tunes, you know.
right.
So I don't know how they could implement that.
I'm thinking of like a very, very dim like aura. Like a that's what I had in my mind. Like a sheen. Like you know, you're aiming your rifle at it, and like almost the sun reflects off of it, and there's like it follows across, like in the sun, like a purple looking sheen across it. I don't know how to explain it, but
yeah,
like
I get
just
what you're saying,
something
an aura
very
or something.
discreet. Yeah, nothing, not like a big glowy like Apex or like something crazy.
Yeah.
But just something very, very discreet. That's like, okay, they're wearing purple. I probably should not fire at them, right? Or they're wearing exotics or legendaries. I would definitely like to see more legendary armor for sure. That's something I definitely would like to see. But I feel like there was one other thing that I wanted to say beforehand. Oh goodness. I am just excited. I'm just so excited for this game to come back, man.
For sure, man. I mean, obviously people are excited. You had 50 people in here at one time, and we're just hanging out talking. So there's obviously
we're just chilling.
People are hyped about it, man, for sure.
Yeah, I think that most of you guys in chat definitely agree. You just want this game back. But yeah, I definitely want to do. I definitely want to do giveaways of like the stuff that they give us in the game, because there's no keys to give away like I used to do with others. Justin already hinted in general that mineral scanner we're gonna be able to scan armor types. He did hint that. That's interesting. That'd be cool. I if that was ever to come about, I think that might be something that would be interesting. Wow, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
it would make it more useful.
To add to that, it should make an audio beep, so when you get scanned, you hear that you're scanned, so that you know you were scanned. So the person, you get like the, and then you hear your own, bloop, 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 you know.
Yep.
Love it.
And you're like, I
Love
was just scanned, so somebody's checking me. Somebody's checking me out right now.
Hell yes, that would be perfect, and it doesn't go against the game loop at that point. You know, I would love that. That would be amazing.
Ingress, don't worry. Soon, June 8th, we're all gonna play. I haven't played since beta 2 either, man. I'm itching. You're fine. We got this. We're almost there. Long haul now. But yeah, I the mineral scanner to me was worthless. I didn't use it. I mean, I really didn't. If they had that, I would 100% use it. Two, if they don't end up doing that, I really think the mineral scanner should just be on your wheel. You know what I mean? Like your that you can pull your binos out on and
Yeah,
stuff
you don't have
just
to put it in your
automatically.
inventory. Yeah,
Because
that'd
there's
work.
no point of bringing it. I might use it a little bit if I had that. Just like if I'm like, man, I really need to find more Velicite. Let's just do it quick. Because otherwise, I knew the locations where they were going to be. So I just went there. But do you know if there is going to be deluxe or a collector's edition? I do not. Have you heard about anything like that?
Like, I mean, how do you? I don't know how you do a deluxe edition on a free game.
On a free game. I know. I was like, I don't know
Yeah.
what they would
I
do
mean,
with it. I mean,
it's the starter packs is their version of deluxe. Like you get the $10 starter
That's-
pack or you get the $60 starter. And I'm just making these numbers up. Obviously, I'm not claiming that's what they are, but the starter packs is basically the deluxe version, I would imagine.
Oh, for sure, Commander Shepard. Yeah, can we get a quick RIP for the man, the myth, the legend forever? Ray Liotta just found out he passed today. Yeah, that sucks. I did just read that. My dad texted me about it, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah, Ray Liotta's a freaking king. It's like when I think of a mafioso, like that's the dude. Yeah, he was a fantastic actor. RIP. I'm with you, man. Dude, that sucks. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, Shep. Don't let it get you too down. Yeah, I feel like that's most of the things that I wanted to discuss in the stream. This is something that I want to do consistently. I think that leading up to that's fucked up, dude. Don't do fatality on that. Oh man. Yo, you got me. Oh my God. So I think that you guys would prefer this. Like I could go on till June 8th, playing other random. I know you had to. It's okay. Playing other games and just doing random stuff. For what purpose? Everybody knows, and all of my community knows that once the cycle drops on June 8th, I'm not playing anything else. That's what I'm playing. Period. So at this point, I think that it would be smartest for me to continue just doing cycle content, especially on YouTube, which I've already been doing anyway. And just my streams only being cycle related. So how are we going to do that with the limited information that we have now? Because we discussed most of what we can talk about in this stream here. So going forward, I want to do streams with you guys, where if you guys want to hop into Discord call and just talk about the game and hang out and chill, watch some old gameplay, maybe go through old tips that we think will be helpful in full release, maybe some guides, have people coming in that know what they're talking about. Wait, game drop.